Welcome back to another video. Today is my favorite day of the week, Monday, because I get to talk about ball screens. So if you're new to the channel, this is Ball Screen Monday, and every Monday we go and we look at one specific ball screen action, and we talk about different ways to utilize it against specific actions, defenses, stuff like that. This week's action is guard-to-guard ball screens, and more specifically, we're looking at how guard-to-guard ball screens can manipulate switching defenses and create the matchup you want through this action. For those that don't know me, I was an assistant coach at Portland State this past season, and we've started the last couple of Ball Screen Mondays with clips of ball screen actions that we utilized at Portland State this past season, and so we're starting with that as well in this video. So like I said, this is guard-to-guard ball screens, and we'll get into it here. Without further ado, we're going to dive into some clips here. And so first, we're going to look at how we utilized guard-to-guard ball screens with Portland State this past season, and we started this action one of two ways. We started with either kind of a wide pin or ram screen to get our screener on the move a little bit, get him a little advantage as he's running into the ball screen, or we simply just sprinted him out of the corner. Either way, kind of the same idea you'll see in this first clip. There's a number of different advantages you can try to create out of guard-to-guard ball screens, and at Portland State, our whole goal was to get our ball handler here getting downhill to his right hand. So kept everybody low and flat, and then that's why we sprinted our screener here you'll see out of the corner to get some confusion here. Our whole goal was to create confusion on switching defenses. So I'll let the clip play, create the confusion, and our guy gets downhill going to his right, which is exactly what we were hoping for. This next clip is the same action, but we start with the wide pin screen here to get into the action before setting the screen. The whole purpose of the play is the same. We're just trying to move fast. We're trying to create confusion on this switch here. There's two reasons I really liked this version of the play that we ran, because we also set the wide pin on this side to get our backside tag here lifted, make it a really tough tag for this backside rotation. As you'll see as we play the clip here, he gets downhill, they come over to recover, and we have the wide open dump off pass to our big. I'm going to rewind this one just so we can kind of walk through how tough of a defensive assignment this is. So double wide pins here. Our man right here is sprinting into the ghost screen, the guard-to-guard ghost screen. And what makes this really tough is because obviously there's enough confusion as it is with them trying to communicate this switch. But our backside rotation now is lifted all the way up here, which is going to make this an impossible recover situation as we roll and have a wide open dump off pass. Last example here of us running this with Portland State. We start with the wide pin ram screen here to get our screener on the move here. We do a really good job at fast pace, create enough confusion to get two on the ball, which is all we're trying to do, is create an advantage. Now they're in a scramble situation. We can end up scoring out of this play. They got a wide open corner through, which is ultimately what we were hoping to do out of this action. Moving on now, we're going to watch a couple clips of the Spurs and how they utilize guard-to-guard ball screens, especially to attack switching defenses. And they start the action very similar to us, or how we did it with a ram screen. They did it from a different angle. I'm going to let the clip run.
He just handles it.
We're going to talk about it. So
time and time again.
Switch.
27 now for Jokic.
Downhill driving situation. It's what they were trying to do. So I really like this version of the play because it really shows how versatile this action can be and how it can create different advantages tailored to your specific lineup or your personnel. So when we ran the action, we're trying to get our ball handler downhill, and we're trying to create as much confusion as possible. Whereas the Spurs run this, and they're not really trying to create confusion. They're actually, banking on the idea that the Nuggets are going to guard this correctly. They're going to bank on the idea that if Stephon Castle screens at a good angle and creates enough contact, then the switch is going to happen, and that he's going to be able to get in a downhill drive situation, which I'll run the clip again.
He handles it time and time again.
Here.
27 now for Jokic.
Just another example here of the Spurs running the same action. This is them running the playoffs against the Timberwolves. And first of all, De'Aaron Fox, great read, rejects the screen here to really maximize this advantage. But same idea, the Spurs are banking on the idea that they're going to switch this properly. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox rejects the screen, so that makes it even a tougher cover. But same thing, good contact, good screening angle, and then Stephon Castle able to get downhill and a little easy layup, lob pass here to Luke Cornett. Last example of it here, this is the Warriors. The 2022 Warriors running this action, and they were, really one of the first teams to really popularize this action and run it at a really high level. And, the combination of using Steph Curry's offensive gravity and Jordan Poole was such a prolific offensive player for them. It was just a perfect combination paired with the ability that Gary Payton had and his ability to roll and play out of short roll situations. So they often did this out of step-up situations, which really maximized, created a very tough cover for defenders, and they did it a lot in transition. So that one obviously combines both of those things. They also did a lot of empty side ball screen situations. So same thing here. Stephen Curry's coming off the ball screen. Gary Payton's going to set this guard-to-guard screen here, and they switch it, and then Gary Payton's wide open on the roll. I really like how the Warriors did this because they really took advantage of how switch-heavy NBA defenses are. We're going to move on to the next clip here. It's the same idea. We got Steph Curry as our ball handler. Gary Payton's going to set this empty side. There's no one in this corner. Empty corner, step up here, and the same idea. And they did it really kind of out of, not transition. This is off of a, obviously it's set defense, but still, same idea. Just showing how tough of a cover this is, especially for defenses that are going to try to switch this action. Last example of it here, same thing. Empty corner, step up. Gary Payton's going to run into the screen. And I like to use the Warriors as an example because it really pairs the emphasis on, how we did it at Portland State and also how the Spurs were doing it, because it combines how important it is to run with pace into this action, as well as how important it is to set a proper screen, make contact, and have a good screening angle. Because right here, if Gary Payton doesn't set his feet, set a good screen, and make contact with our on-ball defender here, then they're not going to switch, and then he's not going to be open. So I just really like this clip because it shows all aspects of what it means to be a good screener and how it can create advantages for you.